You've graduated from PT school. Now what? What should be your first steps that you do now that you have the degree? That's what we're going to talk about on today's video. I'm Greg Todd. I'm the creator of Smart Success Healthcare, and I help people like you learn business skills and strategies so that you can add a zero to your bottom line. So let's talk about this. I graduated a long time ago, y'all. 2000 is when I graduated, and I want to talk about what happened in the last year of physical therapy school for me. So during that time, there was this transition, and the transition was from being a bachelor's of physical therapy to a master's degree in physical therapy. We had an option. We were going to be the last class that could graduate with a bachelor's, or we can go on for another year and get our master's. Now, there was another thing that was going on. It was what happened from 1997. We were still feeling the effects of the Balanced Budget Act being put in place. So back then, it was where managed care was hitting. People were losing their jobs left and right. And pretty much all my classmates, including me, we were scared. We were like, oh my gosh, are we going to have a job coming out of school? And so here's what happened, you guys. I would say about 80 to 85% of my class decided that they wanted to become more valuable as a therapist because there were hardly any jobs out there. And what 80 to 85% of my class did is they said, I'm going to stay in school and I'm going to take the option to get my master's. They felt as though education, more education in the traditional world, was going to allow them to separate themselves in the marketplace for physical therapy. Now, I didn't do that. There were a few of us, I would say probably like 4 or 5 of us, that actually said, you know what, we're going to come out with our bachelor's degree. And what we're going to do is we are going to get to the market fast and with speed. Now, the first job I had paid me $39,500 a year. Okay. So it wasn't a lot of money, but what I was able to gain was I was able to gain experience, and the experiences, I believe, allowed me to be a year ahead of all my classmates. And that is what allowed me to be able to start in the marketplace. Now, if I had to do it all over again, would I do that? No. But here's what I did learn from that. I'm thankful that I decided that more traditional education wasn't going to separate me. So I built my experience in a different way. And during that time, I started working with tennis players that were from 8 to 13 years old. And that led me to 2.5, 3 years later, working with professional tennis players, which led me to have the confidence to do my own practice. Now, you guys, here's the deal. The deal is that if I had to do it all over again, what would I do? I'm going to give you all 3 things that I would do if I was to start today, and how the 3 things that I'm about to tell you will help you with making 6 figures, multi-6 figures, and even 7 figures eventually as a physical therapist. So number 1, I would learn the skill of gaining attention. That is where I would focus my efforts on. So my first year out of physical therapy school, I did over 100 hours of CEU credits. I worked for a company called Health South, and they gave you the ability to do CEUs pretty much every single weekend. It was like 3 to 4 weekends a month. You can go to different places, whether it was in South Miami, it was in Plantation, Florida, it was in Tampa. And I just went to places every single weekend, and I gained education, but I gained practical education, not the traditional one of going to get my master's. And that's what I did. Now, I got to be honest with you, that got me a 1.5% increase in pay after my first year. I wouldn't do that today. I would learn a different skill, and it's a skill of gaining attention. It's how do I put myself out in the marketplace so that I'm known? How do I get to a point where I am not battling with obscurity? How can I get people to actually know who Greg Todd is? How can I become known for something in particular? It could be a knee expert, a running expert, soccer expert, basketball expert, expert with back, TMJ. I have to learn the skills of how to get known first, which means that I'm probably going to have to use this thing. I'm going to have to use a phone. How do I use this phone so that I'm not the best kept secret out there? I would learn that skill. The skill of gaining attention requires you to be able to speak, you to be able to speak and not just speak with people in front of you, you being able to speak with a phone, you being able to speak at a workshop, you being able to speak to people that don't know what it is that you do as a therapist. Okay, that is the skill of gaining attention. Here's the other skill that comes with that. How about the skill of listening? Finding out what it is that people want in the marketplace. finding out where it is that particular audiences are at. I didn't say you have to basically get amazing at understanding a niche yet. That's not what you need to do right now. What you need to do is you need to learn how to get in front of people, which means that you're going to have to learn social media. You're going to have to go to networking events. You should be going to a lot of different events where some of your colleagues are. You should be going to events that have the audiences that you might have interest in working with so that you can become known. Okay. So that is the first thing that I do. Number 2, I would start to build a Big 45 network. And I put this as number 2 because if you don't do number 1 and you learn the skill of gaining attention, which means that you're going to start to communicate with people, then you're not going to be able to do number 2. So number 2 is building a Big 45 network. Now, here's what I would tell you. The Big 45 network is you having 45 contacts, 45 people that have your particular audience. Okay? 45 people. So what are those people and how are they comprised? They're comprised in 3 categories. Category number 1 is that they are providers. That can be massage therapists, physicians, chiropractors, different people that serve an audience very similar to the audience that you might want to serve one day. Even if you don't know who that is, how about people that are in your local community if you want to bring value to people locally? If you want to do online, how about influencers and people that are serving the audience that you potentially want to serve? Okay, so providers, that's the first group. Number 2 is businesses. What businesses actually have the clients that you want to eventually serve? So for me, if I want to serve runners, then I'm looking at running shops. I'm looking at different meal prep, centers. I'm looking at gyms. I'm looking at, different running events that are going on. That's where I'm trying to go to start to build my network. That's other businesses, okay? And then number 3 is communities. So when I used to work at Runners, I used to go to a running group. It was called the Blue Sharks. It was out of downtown Tampa, and we would start there every single Saturday at it was 4:30 or 5 a.m. And we would go do, these long runs of 10, 12, 15 miles or whatnot. And it started to build this community of runners, and they started to see me there, and I just became known as a friend. They didn't even see me as a physical therapist initially, but then as you're running for all that time, people start saying, "Hey, so what do you do?" I'm like, "I'm a physical therapist." "Oh, really? Oh my gosh!" They start telling you all about their problems, but it ended up gaining me more clients. So the Big 45 is 3 different groups: providers, other businesses that have your clients, and a community that has the type of clients that you want to serve. You guys, those are the things that you can be doing right now when you're done with PT school. That's the first group of things you should be doing. Now, I think I want to talk about this final thing because that doesn't sound really hard to do, right? But for many of you, you're not going to do the first things that I told you. And the reason why is because it's not because you can't learn the skills of talking. You know how to talk, right? If you're working with clients or you've done internships, you know how to talk to people. But what I would say is that many of you might not have the traits in order to do number 1 and 2. So here's the third thing that I would say that you should start working on. If you haven't already done so, these 4 things are things that you need to really start to develop. You need to start to develop traits that are going to develop the things that are going to make you money. Now, the things that are going to make you money is you doing number 1 and 2. Learning how to get attention and working on those skills and building a network of people that have the audiences that you might want to work with in the future. Now, in order for you to do that, here are the things that you're going to need. You're going to need to have courage. You're going to need to have perseverance. You're going to need to be able to take action. And you're going to need to be able to be creative. You're going to need to be creative on how you are addressing and presenting yourself to people so that they actually they see value in you and they want to work with you. You're going to have courage to go up to people knowing that there's a high probability they're going to say no. You have to have perseverance because just because you go up to someone doesn't mean that they're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, I want to work with you so bad, Greg Todd." Nope, that's not how it works. A lot of people are going to say, "No, not today, da, 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 da." And your ego is going to get bruised. You need to have perseverance and you need to be able to take action. You need to be able to do it over and over and over and over and over again. And those are traits that you can develop. So I would basically say, you know what? Every single day, I'm going to work on doing something that's going to make me uncomfortable. I'm going to work on something that's going to take discipline. I'm going to work on something that's going to take some courage. I'm going to make myself uncomfortable every day. I'm going to work on something that's going to use my mind and not just my hands. I'm going to work on something that is going to make me take action every single day. And the things that you need to take action on are learning the skill of gaining attention and building a network of people that actually want to rock with you. And those are the things that you all should be working on right now as you get out of school. If you are still in school, get a head start and start working on those things. So guys, here's the deal. There's 2 other videos that I think would be awesome for you. The 5 key skills for successful, profitable healthcare entrepreneurship. And if you want to learn how to network better, then I want you to see this video over here about SSAT Live 2023. It's happening this year, and I want you all to check it out. You guys, thanks so much. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let's get more healthcare professionals to see this stuff so that we can get people to actually impact more things with the skills that we already have. All right, till next time.